Invisible killer. The World Health Organization has been asking questions around the world. Is why are cities, well, in the United States, why a lot of cities have worse air pollution than before? Well, they did studies back in the last century, put it that way, that they looked at how cities handle their air. Things like Mexico City, with surrounded in sitting in a volcano, in a volcano cauldron, and they have a hard time. Cities in China, how they handle their air, because flying, it's not just what the exhaust out of cars and trucks and homes have, and industrial have. They're finding out there's little particulars in the air, like microplastics, like soot. At one time, if you went into every Polish city, there was a cloud of soot in the place. My mother grew up in Chicago, and it is said that her mother had washed the drapes and the windows once a week because they picked up all the soot, and they would put they literally put mesh on the windows to catch the soot coming in. Everybody didn't have air conditioning, and they're finding right now that the air conditioning in cities the filters have to be cleaned more often because the particulars are in the air. Want me to scare you? I live in Cook County, and if you live east of the O'Hare Field in Cook County, you're picking up particulars from the soot from the jet aircraft. It's a busy airport. Yes, Cook County is known as the worst county in the country when it comes to air pollution, and you can't really see it. Down in Chicago, you may get a haze, or if you sit at Willis Tower, is it Willis Tower, and you look toward O'Hare Field, you see the slight haze, especially around when the sun's behind that. You'll see that, and that is air pollution. They've looked at where stale air is. They looked in the subway systems, and they had to add more fans, a bigger breeze going through the subway system to keep the air fresh, you might say. It's kind of like, yes, they have to suck in air from the suburbs to keep the air. Almost literally, you have to suck up the air away from where people are to fill up the underground subway systems to keep air flowing. Bus stations or train stations, they add extra fans going in there. If your train station is air conditioned, sucking up air from O'Hare, sucking up air from the city, it goes through big filters, and they almost say they have to change the filters every other day to have clean air flowing into those things. That's how dirty the systems are. And it's dirty for another reason. You have thousands of, I won't say thousands, let's say you have a lot of auto repair shops, auto paint shops, auto the wood refurnishers, furniture refurnishers are using some pretty heavy and toxic stuff, and this is getting into the atmosphere. It's bad for human health. It's bad for children. Children are born with pink lungs, and by the time they hit my age, They're all filthy, and I don't live east of O'Hara Field. The building I am right now, they have filters in it. Oh yes, to filter the air coming into the building, fill it with that thing, and then of course you're filtering for your air conditioning and for your heating all the time. Nursing homes are now, the newer nursing homes have filters putting air into the building. And while the windows can open, in a sense, are not supposed to be open. They basically tell the people in the thing, you got air conditioning, don't open the window, because then you break the seal. That thing. Oh, I want fresh air. You get fresh air from up there. Oh, we put you in a room, buddy, that you won't be able to open the windows. So you can either have your own private little room, or we will put you in an extra bed in your room, or put you with 4 beds in your room, or put you with 8 beds in the room. This is really the thing. Don't open the windows. Don't have your people. There's stickers on the windows. Do not open this window because of the pollution of the outside. And hospitals the same way. Oh yeah, you better know it. ICUs with this pandemic. Oh, you better know it. They basically restricted the first floor from the second floor to the third or on up because of people tramping in on the first floor with the ICU things, and then they transfer them on up the scale. And the last thing they want is pollution. There's a lot of people in there. They basically, well, one thing about this pandemic, they didn't have visitors, which saved on cleaning, a lot of cleaning, because people tramp in the crud from the outside. If this is only a Muslim hospital where everybody takes off their shoes, leave all the crud outside. But again, the big problem is the health of a city. If you're in New Delhi, American companies in places like New Delhi or Beijing have big problems. The air is so filthy. They have double sealed doors, almost like you're going, this door closes so this door can open, and this is all this air in there. It's almost like a airlock. Yeah, they have to. You have the spinning doors. That's there is for one thing. You have these little. You go through this door. The door and back has to be closed before this door is open. Yeah. And all the entrance to the reception areas is heavily filtered with people coming in from the outside, bringing all the crud in there with them. A lot of pollution on people. I mean, you're walking through some of these cities, you're picking up a lot of pollution. And as they said, you walk into this airlock, you're sprayed with not water, but you're sprayed with air to remove the pollution on you. So you're bringing this stuff into the building. It's a real big problem, and in the United States, it's becoming a real big problem. Trying to isolate floors, try to isolate, doors that would have been open before. No, windows are not open, doors are not open. You can go out, but you can't come in. You ever walk into an elevator and get this extra air in it? Yeah, being sucked out of the elevator. Is they basically take the pollution that's on the person and put it through filters. And they say, well, why? Why is because the climate change is interfering with everything. Some places you get extra dust in the air. You get a lot of extra dust in the air. You go to Las Vegas, you got not only the heat, but you got the extra dust in the air. You walk into a casino, the places air conditioning, and they say they go through so much. Well, they just, like casinos own air filter companies. Big semis come in with air filters all the time because of that. Yeah, it's healthier being inside a casino than being on the outside. Not only for the heat, but one, it's air conditioning. You get fresh air blowing through the place because you've got so many people in it. And they gotta say, the first floor is isolated from the second floor, isolated from the restaurants. You have to go through doors. It's a big problem, air pollution, and it's getting worse, and a lot worse. Well, who's really dying? Your children. Mexico City used to lose 100,000 children a year to air pollution. That has jumped up. In China, the same thing. Cities are polluted, and the little kids die off. If you're rich enough in China, you drive into the city. If you're rich enough in New Delhi, your house is like a great big filter. You drive into the city. And well, maybe, of course, it really doesn't make any difference, does it? We're still 8 billion people, and we're growing by 100 million a year, and we're losing a few million through air pollution. It's almost like a chemical soup. If you live next to a chemical factory, I remember a nickel mine in Canada. Really interesting. I was there long ago. It's a nickel mine in Canada. Everything west of that is green. Everything east of that, because they do their own smelting there, is dead. Something I still basically see. Well, a few things I remember. Green, smelter, dead. It went on for miles. And in the west, you had smelters in the desert, which all the toxins and pollution basically, everything was dead anyway. So what's the difference? But as the World Health Organization, you're to save the children. But again, oh well.